All right, let's put on our detective hats. Today, we're tackling a massive mystery that pretty much every business faces. Where does success really come from? We're diving into the world of marketing attribution to find some answers.
And the stakes here are incredibly high. Just look at this projection from Jellyfish. 40% of all businesses gone in the next decade. And a huge piece of that puzzle, it comes down to companies that just don't truly know who their customers are. This isn't just a marketing problem, it's a survival problem.
You'd think the pros have this all figured out, right? Well, not exactly. A study from Forrester found that a whopping 77% of marketers themselves say they struggle to accurately measure their performance. I mean, that's more than 3 out of 4 experts who are, in a way, flying partially blind.
So that brings us to this massive blind spot. Let's dig into why the way most companies have been measuring their marketing is just fundamentally broken.
It's time to unmask the main culprit behind all this confusion. It's a model that has been the default for years, and it's called last-click attribution.
And you don't have to take my word for it. The experts are pretty blunt about this. Avinash Kaushik, Google's digital marketing evangelist, put it this way. The only use for last-click attribution now is to get you fired. Wow. It doesn't get much clearer than that, does it?
So what is this thing that gets people so worked up? Well, it's super simple. It gives 100% of the credit for a sale to the very last thing a person clicked on before they bought something. It's neat, it's tidy, and it's almost always telling you the wrong story because it completely ignores the entire journey that came before.
And this visual just nails the problem. On the left, you've got last click's view of the world, a perfectly straight line from an ad to a sale. But on the right, that's reality. It's a messy, tangled web of interactions. A social media post here, a blog post there, a recommendation from a friend, an email newsletter, they all played a part.
So if last click is the problem, what's the solution? Well, we need a better detective, one that can actually see the whole story, not just the last page.
Which brings us to the central question for our investigation. How in the world do we give the right amount of credit to all the different marketing efforts that helped a customer along their journey?
And the answer is a method called multi-touch attribution, or MTA for short. It's all about figuring out which marketing actions actually helped move the needle by assigning some value to every interaction a customer has on their way to making a purchase. It looks at the whole thing.
Because a real journey is almost never a single step. It's more like this, right? You see a Facebook ad. A week later, you read a blog post. Then you click a link in an email. You Google some reviews to see what other people think. And only then, maybe, you type the website in directly and finally buy. Last click only sees that very last step, and it ignores all the crucial groundwork that made it happen.
Now, multi-touch attribution isn't just one thing. It's more like a detective's toolkit filled with different models. You can think of each model as a different lens that lets you view the evidence from a slightly different angle.
Twilio's segment has this great analogy for it. They say it's like an Oscar speech. Some models are like the winner who thanks every single person they've ever met, giving them all equal credit. But other, smarter models try to figure out, okay, who is the real star of the show here?
So let's look at a few of these lenses. The linear model is that Oscar speech. It splits the credit equally across every single touch point. It's simple and it makes sure you don't ignore anybody. Next up, time decay. This one feels more intuitive. It gives more credit to the touches that happen closer to the sale. This is really useful if you have a shorter sales cycle where those last few interactions are super persuasive. Then you've got the U-shaped model. This one gives the most credit, like 40% each, to 2 key moments. The very first touch that introduced the customer to you and the touch that officially turned them into a lead. And for really long, complex sales, there's the W-shaped model. It credits 3 things: that first touch, the lead creation moment, and the moment the deal was created. As you can see, which model is best really depends on what story you're trying to understand about your business.
Okay, but hold on. Before you run off and pick a model, we need a quick reality check. Because as powerful as these tools are, they are not a magic bullet. No model is perfect.
In the real world, things get messy. For one, your different data platforms are never going to agree. Google and Meta will report the exact same sale in different ways. And then, what about the offline world? How do you track a billboard someone drove by or a conversation between friends? But maybe the biggest challenge is the human element. Data can't always tell you which interaction truly mattered most in the customer's heart and mind.
And that human element is everything. People Metrics calls these critical interactions moments of truth. These are the make or break points in the journey. If it goes wrong, that customer's gone, maybe forever. But if it goes well, you build an actual emotional connection that no spreadsheet can fully capture.
So, what's the best way to ground all of this complex data in reality? You know, it's almost embarrassingly simple. Just ask people. Adding a little "How did you hear about us" box at checkout is an incredibly powerful way to get that human truth and see how well it lines up with what your data is telling you.
Okay, I know this can feel like a lot. So where do you even begin this journey without getting totally overwhelmed? Let's talk about a clear, simple first step you can take.
You really don't need a perfect, custom-built model from day one. Google actually lays out a pretty simple plan. First, just focus on growing your own data by building direct relationships on your website or in your app. Second, enrich that data by looking past simple conversions and focusing on what really drives the business, like revenue and lifetime value. Third, whenever you can, enhance your view by pulling in offline data, like in-store sales. And finally, and this is crucial, do all of this while protecting user privacy. Because trust is the absolute bedrock of a good customer relationship.
At the end of the day, solving the attribution mystery isn't about finding one single perfect number. It's about learning to listen to the entire story your data is trying to tell you. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Your marketing data is telling a story. Are you sure you're listening to the right one?